Come on, yeah.
Good evening, CAYA. Y'all are so beautiful. Yes, absolutely. I just want to do a couple things before I actually get started. One, I want to thank God for the opportunity. He has an awesome sense of humor because I left my notes in my briefcase in my office. And God said, I told you I was going to use you, so, So that didn't really concern me because I know what the Lord wants me to tell you. I want to thank Pastor Wesley for the opportunity to stand before you. I want to thank y'all for coming out, even though Pastor Wesley wasn't going to be up here. I heard that's a special kind of a thing. I want to thank Trey Brown for stalking me for a couple hours. Yes, Trey. She sent me a request, and then she friended me on Facebook, and then she inboxed me on Facebook, and then she emailed me, and all within an hour, I'm like, who is this chick? She's awesome. I want to thank Miss Rosette Graham. She has got to be the most awesome assistant ever. I'm trying to figure out how I can pay her off, and she come work with me. Like, she's like that. She's like, no, I can't do it. I don't make that much money, right? Okay. I want to thank Miss Brooke for being so awesome and helping me through this process. She is great, Miss Brooke. The other thing I want to thank, acknowledge a few spirits. One, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's Easter, and we didn't really celebrate the death. We celebrated the life and the resurrection. And what Jesus taught me about money is that there is life after. A lot of us are experiencing financial death, whether it's divorce, whether it's collections, whether it's student loans. I am still very bitter about my student loans being delivered. Oh, well. Whatever it is, whatever financial death you may have experienced, Jesus Christ taught us that there's resurrection. There's financial resurrection. So there's always life after. So I don't want you to think if you're dealing with a financial struggle that it's the end of the world, end of your credit, end of your savings, end of anything. There is always resurrection. If you only knew what I had been through. I had been through so much that suicide was an option. And if it was not because of Jesus, I would not have been gone. I would not have been able to experience the resurrection and the beautifulness that I'm experiencing right now. I am happy, y'all. And that ain't nothing but God. Nothing but God. Nothing but God. I want to thank my grandmother who passed away a couple years. She passed away in March. And she was my best friend. And she told me every year of my life that I can remember, Pud, yeah, she called me Puddin'. When you were 2 years old after church, you was sitting in the back seat, and after you heard that preacher, you would sit in that back seat and you would just preach a sermon, like you, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. In the back seat, you were only about 2 years old. You couldn't really talk, but you were preaching something. And that's when I knew, girl, you gonna be a preacher. And I give her the same response, yeah, my mom, okay. And she's like, no, I see you in the pulpit. And you're going to be speaking to hundreds of people. I just see it. I see it. And I said, okay, my mom, whatever you say. So my grandmother, even though she is gone, she is obviously still here with me because I am standing in a pulpit, makeshift, and speaking to hundreds of people. How about that? So I thank my best friend for speaking life. My mother passed away a year after my grandmother. And they were my matriarchs. When I went home, when I was a baby, my mother was 15. We went home to my grandmother, my grandfather, my uncle, and my mom. And the two most significant women in my life are gone, and so the only core I have is my grandfather and my uncle. But I thank God that I have the ability to take care of my grandfather and support my uncle. And it's because of my financial stability that I had to regrow. Because I had it, then I lost it, and then I had to rebuild it, and still rebuilding, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to commute back and forth from Atlanta to Delaware. So I thank God for that. They call me Madam Money, if you go to madamoney.com, because I wrote a book called Financial Fornication. I hear y'all want to know about financial fornication. Yes, girl, yes, right? Wrote a book called Financial Fornication. Now, here's the thing. I wrote this book in 2010, published it in 2011. It just recently, maybe about a year ago, hit the bestseller, right? And that's to say all of a sudden everybody is ready to talk about this type of relationship. And so I'm revising the book. But I wanted to explain to you a little bit why I wrote the book and what the book is about, okay? So when I was the interim president and CEO and the executive vice president of executive vice president of a credit union in Atlanta, Georgia, I had a lot of celebrities that came to the credit union, whether it was reality TV stars, a couple of the housewives. Y'all know about them housewives of Atlanta? Yeah, okay. Woo! A couple rappers, a couple athletes. It was a variety of them. And what they did, they came to the credit union because they wanted to borrow money so they can buy the cars, the jewelry, the apartments, not even a house, but a whole bunch of cars, because they had to show that they had money on TV. So they had these kids believing they have all this money, but what they really did was they borrowed the lifestyle from me and from other financial institutions, right? And I said, So I decided I was gonna watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta, all right? That was my first and last time, but I decided to watch it, right? Cool. And I kept seeing them talking about relationships and who they slept with, who they wanted to sleep with, who they breaking up with, but nobody wanted to talk about their crappy credit. Nobody wanted to talk about the fact they had no savings. Nobody wanted to talk about anything dealing with money. And that's when I realized we are so ready to talk about relationships that we don't even want to think about the relationship with money or relationship with financial institutions. And then I said, I can't just think about what everybody else is doing. I have to look inside what I'm doing. I'm a financial institution executive. I can run a financial institution. I can grow it. I can make it money. I can balance its budget. I can stay on budget. Financial institution, $50 million, a small credit union with $50 million. I could run it. But I couldn't even balance my own checkbook. I really didn't know how much was coming in and coming out. I didn't take stock and take that much importance of what I took with other people's money. I didn't even value my own money. So I was a financial institution executive living paycheck to paycheck, not really contributing to my 401k, and they were matching free money. Y'all, we gonna talk about that. Y'all better take that free money, all right? All right, okay. And so I realized that I had a very dysfunctional relationship with money. And it probably stemmed back from when I was a child. My parents didn't teach me anything about money. I learned by observing what they did. When they were happy, they spent money. When they were sad, they spent money. When there was a funeral, we spent money. When there was a wedding, we spent money. And if we didn't have enough money, guess what we did? We borrowed the money to spend money. So that's pretty much what I learned. So there was a trigger, a behavior, and the pleasure principle. That's how habits are formed, right? The trigger, anything happy, sad, whatever, spend money, I get the pleasure. Even though it's temporal, it was a habit to do that. So I realized that I was financially promiscuous with my credit cards. Not one, but several. I'm repenting, y'all. I had these financial one-night stands with these credit cards, y'all. Let me tell you. Like these shoes and these dresses and everything, I should have been paying in cash. No, I swiped that baby. And then what was supposed to be a short-term transaction turned into a long-term financial relationship because I didn't even pay it off. I just paid the minimum payment, a little bit more than the minimum payment, paying all that interest, right? And then I started getting my assets kicked. I said asset. I'm in a church, y'all. And then I ended up with financial STDs, substantially tremendous debt. Woo! And them babies bellies hurt. And they weren't only infecting and affecting me, it was infecting and affecting the people around me. Like I couldn't go on vacation because I maxed out all my credit cards and I had to go to work so I could make the money to pay the bills. I couldn't travel with my girlfriend. My girlfriend was making $20,000 less than me and she traveled the world. What's up with that dude? I'm making more money than her. But she was keeping more money and she was able to do some more things. And so I had to figure out how I can cure these financial STDs. So I had to, execute some financial abstinence. I had to stop. I had to stop with the credit cards. I just had to stop. And then I had to reassess, and I had to learn new behaviors to do that. And so that's why I wrote the book. That's what the book is all about, and I talk about that within that book. I'm going to tell y'all how to get the book, too, all right? But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was some of the things I wish I'd learned 20 years ago about money, about student loans, about credit, and my financial future. Let's talk about student loans. Anybody want to talk about student loans? Well, the first thing I wish I would have learned is that a refund in student loan land is not a refund. Let me tell you how the bag of chips ends up costing me $67,000, all right? I got refund, bought a whole bunch of stuff, but the problem is I don't remember what I bought. Because whatever I bought did not earn me anything, didn't help me pay the student loans, or didn't create any assets. And the only thing I remember buying is a bag of chips. That is how that bag of chips cost me $67,000, which I'm very, very bitter about, okay? So that refund is not a refund. I wish I would have put extra money that I received, and I received a whole lot of extra money. I wish I would have put that extra money towards those student loans, because I would have paid either the interest, so I wouldn't have to worry about that because of this brilliant invention called compound interest. It works when you're saving, but it's a beast when you borrow money, right? So I wish I would have paid something. I had all these side hustles, and I was buying a whole bunch of stuff with my extra money, but I should have put some of it, not all of it, because I'm selfish like that. I'm a financial fornicator, y'all. Y'all gonna have to forgive me, okay? I would have put some of it towards those student loans. I wish I would have established a payment plan early on and not deferred them. Because what I didn't know is after a certain amount of deferments, you don't qualify for deferment no more. How about that? So if I had, with the money that I was making early on, my payment plan would have been, and my payments would be so much less than if I start doing a payment plan now because I'm making so much more money and it's based on your income. Some of them based on your income, right? So I wish I would have established that payment plan early on instead of deferring and allowing that compound interest to increase my balance. Because every month it's the principal, then it's the interest. Then the next month is the principal and the interest on that. And then the next month is the principal and the interest and the interest and the interest on that. I wish I would have nipped that in the bud early on in life. I wish I had the opportunity to negotiate with my employer when I got that new job to see if they had a student loan repayment program like they do in some corporations now. Did y'all know that? In some companies, you can negotiate that they pay your student loans if you're there a certain amount of time. If you didn't know that, the next time you negotiate a salary or whatever, you might want to ask. I wish I would have taken advantage of the student loan, the student loan reimbursement program. So when I went for my master's degree that I didn't finish, y'all pray for me, I wouldn't have paid that $20,000 extra in student loans within that. I wish I would have known how to, I wish I would have known not to consolidate my student loans. What? The reason why is because I think I had around 10 of them, right? One was like 1,000, the other one was 2,500, another one maybe 3,000, and all of that. And when I combined them all together, it came to about $65,000, right? If I had just focused on, even though the other ones may have been deferred, if I had focused on the small one, paid it off, and then went to the next one, paid it off, and went to the next one and paid it off, I wouldn't have this issue of being very bitter about $67,000. But instead, I combined them all, and even though the interest was lower, what did I do? I deferred it. So I'm deferring $65,000 with the interest versus a $10,000 loan or a $20,000 loan that I could have nipped in the bud if I did it a chunk at a time. So I wish I would have known consolidation is your last resort. If you have the opportunity to do it, everybody know about the snowball effect? I wish I would have implemented the snowball effect with my student loans. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about credit. Credit is like sex. Yep, I said it. It requires knowledge, maturity, discipline, responsibility, and preferably a committed relationship, like marriage, right? I am in a church. Y'all need to be married, right? Right? Okay. I'm getting those looks. But credit is the same way, because if you deal with sex and you're not mature, you're not disciplined, and you're not in a committed relationship, it can be dangerous, almost deadly. Especially if you get in a bad relationship, the wrong relationship. And that's why, I got in a lot of dysfunctional relationships because I was either not mature enough, I didn't establish that right relationship, I didn't do it right. But credit is the same way. If you don't have the knowledge about it, if you're not mature, if you're not disciplined, if you don't have a committed relationship with your financial institution, it could be deadly. How many people that you have heard have committed suicide because they're deep in debt? That they can't pay their bills. That's why suicide was an option. It's never going to be an option again, but that's why I didn't have a way out. I didn't see a way out. I had no money coming in. Everybody's coming after me. And that's how you get when you get in that situation. And it wasn't that somebody put me in that situation. I put myself in that situation. I got seduced by credit and all the fun things and pleasure principles it could give me. That debt almost destroyed me. So I wish I would have learned how to play hard to get with debt. Because if you don't play hard to get with debt, debt will make credit harder to get when you need it. That's a tweetable. Y'all tweet that. Ms. Madam Money, MS Madam Money. Ms. Madam Money said, if you don't play hard to get with debt, debt will make credit hard to get when you need it. That was fly. I like that. I like that. Y'all write that down, seriously, for real. I wish I would have known that credit is a tool, not a life preserver. Credit is a tool, not a life preserver. It's not supposed to preserve my lifestyle. It is a tool to help me build assets. I wish I would have waited on buying that house that I thought I really wanted and focused on building investment properties. I bought a house, sold it, bought another house, sold it, bought another house, foreclosed it. Wish I would have bought a house, rented it out, bought another house, rented it out, and bought another house and rented it out. So I had cash flow coming in, so when I was really ready to get my dream house or something like that, I could do that. Or I had something to leave my son. I can leave a legacy of real estate to my son. I wish I would have done that. I was so eager on buying a house, but I really didn't know what what are we buying a house for? Everybody wants to buy a house. What you really want to buy a house for? What do I want to buy a house for? I didn't like to mow the lawn. When the water heater broke down, I called my daddy and said, who's going to come and fix it? He said, you going to go to the store and buy one? And I was like, well, where's that money coming from? Right. So I wasn't ready for the expenses of a house. I loved it. I loved having the house. I had two wonderful houses that I really, really loved and one that I really hated. But what did I buy them for? They could have been investment properties. So if you have a house and you want to get another house, don't just sell it. See if that can become an investment property. Or focus on getting investment properties within that. I want to talk a little bit about my financial future, and I'm going a little faster because I want to give you all an opportunity to ask me some questions, and I know I don't have enough time, and I want to tell you a story, okay? My financial future. I wish somebody would have told me earlier that it's not just about me, and that was kind of hard for me to grasp because everything is about me. Really. Everything's about us, right? Everything's about me. That's what they say. If you want to change people around you, change you or change the people around me, right? We are the common denominator. So in essence, everything is about me, right? My mama told me, sometimes it just ain't about you. It just ain't always about you. Proverbs 13:22 tells me that because a good man leaves an inheritance, right? So it's not just about me. I wish I would have bought life insurance early in life, when I was younger and healthier, because it's cheaper. Who knew that when I got around 40-something, I would have hypertension and be a diabetic? That was because of my lifestyle. But now if I get life insurance, it's a couple $100. But if I got it when I was in my 20s or my 30s, $20, $50. I wish I would have gotten life insurance for my son early in his life. Now he can't get life insurance because he was diagnosed with mental health issues. I wish I would have done these things early in my life. Even if it wasn't in my 20s, I wish I would have done them in my 30s. And I had a good time in my 30s. I'm not ready to repent about that right now. I wish I would have learned the magnitude and the gloriousness of giving my tithes. And I'm going to try not to get emotional. I know you all hear this all the time. Everybody says, they use Malachi 3:10 to threaten you. To encourage you to give, right? But tithing is a lesson. It teaches you discipline. Just like offering teaches you sacrifice. Just like alms teaches you compassion. Those are the differences, right? But God gives us every week, every 2 weeks, every month, He gives us opportunities to learn how to trust Him. Right? So when I didn't tithe, I was being disobedient. I never had enough money. Never, ever had enough money. But when I decided I was going to give, I was going to pay my tithes, for whatever reason, there was enough. It may have been just enough, but it was enough. It wasn't until I lost everything. And when I say I lost everything, I had to borrow money to feed my son. I had to borrow money from family members and friends to buy groceries. I had to borrow money to put gas in my car so I can go and look for a job. And I went to church, and I wanted so much to give. But if you only have $10 and you got to get gas and you got to feed your family, are you really going to give? And it was one day when I was in that situation, and I asked God that, and He said yes. And I trusted Him. And I gave. And because I was obedient and I gave, why did I find a $20 bill in my purse? Now, I'm not saying it's magic. I'm sure I put it in there. So I don't want y'all thinking, ooh, if I give my last, I'm going to find some money up in here. It's probably not going to happen for you. But what that taught me is that if I can just trust and be obedient to Him, He's going to take care of it. He is going to take care of it. So now I get excited when I get paid, because the first thing that happens when I get paid, I tithe. I can't transfer no money. I can't go out to eat. I can't do nothing until I tithe. Now, see, what happened was there was a church that I was trying to go to, and they would make it harder for me to tithe. So I started tithing. Y'all don't tell nobody now. Nobody's watching this, right? So I started tithing to my old church that allowed me to tithe online because I wanted to go out to eat for lunch. And they making this difficult. So as soon as it hit my bank account, I sent my tithes. All is right with the world. And I always have enough. What happens when I decide to tithe? New opportunities come. I get Trey stalking me in my Facebook. I get the opportunity to do my speaking bucket list at Spelman College. I get to be on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. I don't know if y'all heard me. Go to my website. I'll be back on there, I promise. I'll tell you. But that's some of the things that I wish I would have done, and that's for your financial future. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar, nor do I play one on TV. But I wanted to share some of the things that I wish I would have known and some of the things I would have done that are strategies in my financial life. I don't have enough time up here to tell you every strategy that you should do and all of that, but there's some behavioral things that we have to do, some habits that we have to form, some pleasures that we have to change within that. So I like to eat. I'm a big chick. I like to eat. So when I walked in and smelled them wings, y'all know I forgot about speaking, right? I was like, oh, wait a minute, make me a plate within that. But sometimes I'm tired and I don't want to cook, so I'm gonna go and eat out, right? And I need y'all to help me do this math, right? So I was eating out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right, we gonna do math, right? So my breakfast with coffee, about $5, right? My lunch, because I'm not a cheap date, was at least $15, $20, right? I told y'all I'm not cheap. But wait, my dinner was at least $40. I'm not gonna tell you why. I'm still being delivered, y'all. I mean, Jesus did turn water to wine, but that's beside the point. So we're thinking $65. Not even gonna talk about the weekend. We're not gonna make that bad. So let's just round it and say $50. He was like, nah, dude, let's round up. Okay, let's say 70, all right? 70 times 5, how much is that? That's $350. Anybody got a calculator? Times 4. Anybody got a calculator? It's about 1,400, right? Now, luckily, now this was, luckily I didn't go broke eating, but I did. Yeah, that's all I was doing was eating, y'all. But I did have to take stock because if I'm spending $1,400 in food, I can never say that I don't have enough money to save. Or I can never say that I don't have enough money to invest. Or I don't have enough money for life insurance. I can never say that, right? But here's the thing, it became a habit. And once you get in that habit loop, it's kind of hard to break, okay? So what I had to do, instead of going out 5 times a week, I had to say, okay, maybe I'm gonna start cooking on Sunday and I'm going to do that, and I'll treat myself 3 times a week just for dinner, okay? So that puts me down to around, can I say $50 now? And $50 for 3 times a week, that's $150. Times 4, okay, that sounds better, right? It was better for me, all right? Work with me. Work with me. Baby steps. So when I decided, okay, now I put myself on a budget. And budget is not a bad word. Budget is your roadmap to where you want to go financially. You tell your money where you want it to go. Because if you don't tell your money where you want it to go, your money will tell you what you can't do. Your money will tell you you can't afford it. Your bank account will say, nah, dude, sorry. But I want to go hang out with my friends. Not going to happen tonight. But I want to go buy this outfit. Your credit cards are maxed out and you ain't got no money, boo. Because your bank account is going to tell you that you have to work to pay bills. You can't take vacation. You can't take off. You got to go to work. You got to work overtime because you got to pay bills. When you have a budget, you tell your money. You name your dollars. You tell your money where you're going to go, where it's going to go. Once you take control of that money, then you can determine, I'm not going to do this. You can make better financial decisions. Does that make sense? All right, when I say does it make sense, y'all got to say dollars. Because if it don't make sense, don't make dollars, right? Y'all don't get that, okay. Before I end, I want to share with you all a story. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to share with you all a story. How many of you all saw Black Panther? How many of you all saw Black Panther twice? How many of you all are going to go see it again? And for those of you that haven't seen it, shame on you. Shame on you. Y'all needed to help make it $1 billion. Shame on you. I was glad to contribute to that. But I'm going to tell you all a superhero story. Can I tell you all a superhero story? Okay. Once upon a time in a land far, far away called Financial Freedom Kingdom, Virginia, there lived this superhero. The superhero was so awesome. He was better than all the superheroes that you can think of. Superman, Batman, all of them, even the Black Panther. He's like, I don't think so. Yeah, he was better. And nobody knew who the superhero was because he disguised himself as a brother, a member of a church. But some people really, really had an inkling because he was just the most awesome person ever. And he used to do wonderful things for people. But the superhero kept his anonymity, kept it a secret. Start where you are. And he kept it a secret because he did not want people to know that he had a kryptonite. His kryptonite was spending, overspending. But he didn't want people to know that he was the superhero or whatever. But his job was to make sure Financial Freedom Kingdom was safe and sound and secure. And everybody in Financial Freedom Kingdom was happy. They can buy, invest, they could do whatever they want, they could travel. Everybody was happy, and he was happy too. And then all of a sudden, bombs started dropping called emergencies. These emergency bombs started dropping. There was a health emergency, a death in a family emergency, the car broke down emergency. Someone lost their job emergency. Kept killing the foundation of Financial Freedom Kingdom. And the superhero didn't know what to do. The superhero was like, what in the world is going on? I've never seen these emergency bombs before. What is going on? So he decided to go to his best friend, Credit. Credit was his ace boon coon. Y'all ever heard that before? Right. I'm telling my age. He was like, it was his boy. That was his buddy. Credit was like, I got you. I'm going to help you fix everything. I got you. And so the superhero just kept using credit to fix everything. And then all of a sudden, Credit started feeling some kind of way. You using me up, but you ain't paying me back right. And sometimes you ain't paying me back at all. I'm feeling some kind of way. And then all of a sudden, Credit turned into its nemesis or his alter ego, his evil alter ego called Debt. And now Debt, he said, you know what? Since you don't want to pay me back, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to kill everything that you love. I'm going to suck away all of your time. You're not going to have time for anything because you're going to be a slave to me, debt. And so the superhero's like, dude, you're my best friend. What's going on here? But debt was like, you know what? I'm going to make your life more miserable. So he decided to team up with the grim reaper of time called procrastination. And procrastination was deadly. The procrastination would lock you into a zone and making you think you had a whole lot of time and suck time away from you. So those 20-year-olds thought they had a lot of time, all of a sudden they were 40. Those 30-year-olds that thought they had a lot of time, they're 50. And so that's what made procrastination deadly. So superheroes like, dude, seriously? I got bombs dropping everywhere. My best friend is now trying to kill me, and now procrastination is sucking away all my time, and now I don't have any time to save people. What am I going to do? What is a superhero going to do? So the superhero decide to go to a guide, because in every superhero movie, there is always a guide, right? Luke Skywalker had what? Yoda. So he went to a Yoda-like financial guru called Madam Money. And she was hot, like she was fine, right? But that's beside the point. She was brilliant, okay? She was brilliant. And she said, look, I'm going to give you 3 weapons so you can combat these villains. The first weapon I'm going to give you is called the Financial Forcefield. The Financial Forcefield can be stronger and can be used to ward off all of the bombs, but you have to feed it savings. You have to save money in order for the force field to work. What are some ways we can save money? Stop spending. What else? Budgeting. What else? Pay yourself first. Yes, okay? So the more money you save, the stronger the force field is going to be from all those emergency bombs, so you'll be prepared and you protect Financial Freedom Kingdom. He was like, bet. I like that. He's like, but what about debt? Oh, I have this awesome weapon called the detonator. Y'all like that, right? It nullifies debt. But you have to feed it in order to do that. What are some ways we can nullify debt? Snowball effect. Avalanche method. I need to learn that one. That sounds hot. Sounds like a whole lot of money, but okay. Financial abstinence. Stop using credit, right? Maybe consolidation. So if you feed it, you can eliminate the detonator. And then the last one I'm going to give you is called the lifesaver. You know how Luke Skywalker had the lightsaber? This one is the lifesaver. So you have to feed it action. What are some ways to defeat procrastination with action? 1, do it. 1, start that 401k. 1, get that life insurance. 1, start that investment. 1, learn how to invest. But you have to do action in order to do that, okay? So now the superhero had the weapons that he needed to kill or to defeat all of the villains. But she said there's one thing that you're going to need in order to make all this happen. The power is inside of you called the budget. In order for you to activate all of these weapons, you have to have the budget inside of you to be able to make sure that you can arm each of these weapons. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right, we're getting there. So the superhero is like, okay, I got my 3 weapons, the budget inside of me. What is a superhero going to do? So here's the thing, with every superhero story, the ending is always contingent upon the decision of the superhero. Was the superhero going to utilize the budget and arm all his weapons and kill the villains so he lives happily ever after and he saves Financial Freedom Kingdom, Virginia? Or was he going to do nothing and say, oh, I'll wait. Oh, I don't want to do the budget. I don't want to deal with this right now. and then possibly be destroyed financially and destroy his family and his friends. What is a superhero going to do? Now, here's the thing. We all know this superhero. The superhero is in this room. The superhero is you. You are the superhero of your financial freedom kingdom. You have the power to live happily ever after by utilizing the weapons that Madam Money is going to give you and has given you, or you can do nothing and then be destroyed. The choice is yours. But this is where I commend you. I commend you on being here today. Because from my understanding, this place is usually packed with up there, packed too. You made the decision that you are going to activate and you were going to use the weapons to live happily ever after, perhaps even have a sequel, because you know you make more money off the sequel, right? And so I want to be able to give you the tools that you need to be successful. And the first way to do that is I'm going to answer your questions. What questions do you have for me? How much time do we have? 10 minutes, great. Does anyone have any, what questions do you have? Okay, yes. That's fine.
With your question, I guess I can come up to you. There you go. Is it on? Okay.
Hello, hi, good evening. My name is Kelly Scavella, and I have a question regarding loans.
Yes.
Now, you touched on loan consolidation.
Yes.
In the example that you gave, you used about $10,000. Are you saying that, and I'm gonna actually back up a little bit. So I've been kind of reading, Susie Orman says that we're supposed to consolidate. And I also listened to Dave Ramsey, and I listened to a couple of other financial folks. And a lot of people have different approaches.
Right.
Are you saying that we should possibly use the snowball effect if you owe under a certain amount? Because depending on if you went to undergrad, graduate school, possibly got your PhD, you may have a little bit more than 10,000, maybe on the upwards of 100,000. Are you saying over a certain amount that we should consolidate and under a certain amount we should not?
I am not saying that at all.
Okay.
I'm saying use your best discretion and based on your budget how to do that.
Okay.
See, with my budget at the time, I could have afforded a payment to pay off those smaller loans while the larger ones were in deferred, and then when those smaller loans were paid, I could use the payments that I paid with them and add that to the next loan on there. That would have made more sense for me with my budget at the time. Now, it did make sense when I consolidated them on, and instead of paying around $200 a month, I now had to pay almost $400 a month just in student loans. Not only that, with that $65,000, of course, if they're going to make it a smaller, they're going to stretch it out as long as possible. So now I have another mortgage in a house that doesn't even exist. I mean, I don't want to be bitter about it, but I got it in a degree that I'm not even working in. I don't want to go there, but I'm not saying that. You know, there's some people, and here's it. I'm going to touch on this. I'm going to say this, okay? If you all are still in school or going back to school or know somebody in school, I want to tell you this. Don't go to school to try to get a job. Go to school to try to create jobs, to try to create a business. I don't care if you want to be a professional burger eater. Get the degree, but take the business classes and then intern at a burger place so you learn the operations so that you can start your own business. Because taxes benefit employers, not employees. But I digress. Back to student loans. I think it's best in your interest. Now, I differ with Susie Orman. I differ with Dave Ramsey because I don't think one size fits all, okay? That's like saying the diagnosis for me and my health situation will fit everybody. That's not true. We all have different situations. But I think we need to take stock in our own situation and make the best decision. Now, if consolidation is the right thing for you and you can afford that consolidation payment and you know you can knock it out, go for it. I celebrate you. But for some of us, we have a lot of smaller loans that we could probably knock out in a year. Maybe 2 or 3 years, we can knock them out instead of lumping them in a big loan and then having compound interest on that. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Over there?
Come over here first.
Hi, I'm Eileen.
Hey.
I'm 32 years old, and I am just now thinking of retirement. I used my 20s to travel and explore and this and that. I also decided on a career change about a year ago. So the job that I am in, while I'm getting great experience, I'm thinking of the bigger picture, it's the worst I've been paid ever. Even my first job out of college, even an internship I had in college paid more than this. And I don't get any benefits.
Whoa.
So, I know, I'm just putting it all out there.
Like, we all need to talk to you afterwards, okay? No.
But I want to paint the picture because I got so lucky and I found a place with, I can't even believe, amazing rent, and it opened up about $600 a month for me. And the way that I think of it is if I start investing now, if I create my own 401k or Roth IRA, I will have no excuse in the future to not give if I can give now. So my question for you is, I'm thinking with the money that I have, do I start a Roth IRA or do I start 401k? I've been leaning towards Roth IRA because I'm in a low tax bracket. And then 401k, kind of a question I have, I know that you pay taxes later.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of you want to defer the taxes now or you would want to defer the taxes later, okay? So you're going to pay taxes.
Yeah.
So do you want to pay the taxes now and not have to worry about the taxes when you retire? Or do you want to defer the taxes now and then pay the taxes when you retire? That's the difference between a traditional, you pay the taxes later, or the Roth, you pay them now, okay? So the only reason why I would ever say invest in a 401k is if the company is matching. Free money. Because other than that, you might as well invest it in someplace else. Whether you invest with a professional or whether you invest with the IRAs and all of that. I do recommend that you talk to someone that's series licensed when you're talking about investing, of which I'm not, and that's a business decision. So I will never tell you all recommendations about investments. I can tell you that with your situation, I would probably, if you want to defer your taxes, then you do the traditional. If you want to pay your taxes now and not worry about it, do the Roth. Just start saving something sooner. That's my hashtag. Start saving something sooner. So even though you do that, an IRA is good. You can talk to an investment professional and they can put you in a mutual fund or they can put you in a mix where you can start investing that way as well. How many of you all have a 401k? How many companies match your 401k? Do you know what the match is? Are you saving up to that match? Absolutely. How many of you are saving more than a match? Okay, so this is what I would do. Me. I would save up to the match because that is free money. Whatever I would do above that, I would probably put that in another investment tool. I diversify, I just would. I would talk to a professional of where I could do that, where I can manage it maybe a little bit more or have them manage it there, okay? Because a 401k, I'm really just in it for the free money to escalate my savings. But the extra that I want to put in there, I want it to grow, but I want it to do more than me. And what if the company folds? What if there's no more 401k? And now I have all of my money in that one organization. After Enron, I'm kind of paranoid. Everybody's still talking about Enron, though. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
So we're actually out of time.
We're actually out of time.
But are you able to stay around after to answer?
Yes, I am going
Okay,
to
so-
stay afterwards if you have any questions. Now, everybody needs to get the book, right? Yeah. All right, so this is what I'm going to do for you today. This is what I'm going to do for you. All right. So this is how you're going to get the book, and it's going to be free shipping because I'm going to have all the books shipped here to the church so you can pick them up. It's only $15. You want to get a copy of the book. This is going to be the easiest way to do it. I want you to text me Financial Fornication, your name and your email address. I'll send you the information. I'll communicate when the books are going to be shipped and when they arrived. The number you texted to is 404. And she's like, wait, hold up. All right. Again, text Financial Fornication, so I know what it's for, your name and your email address. 404-852-6295. Don't worry, it's not going to those automated systems that you're going to get a whole bunch of text message. That's actually my personal cell phone right here. And it's ringing, okay? All right. She's like, yeah, that'd be me. Yep. The last thing I want to do before we leave, and I'm going to be here for a while, is that I do selfies. I'm just that chick, okay? Don't judge. I'm still being delivered. All right, I do selfies. Everybody okay with doing a group selfie? You sure? If y'all not, y'all just hide underneath the pew, okay? Y'all ready? Wave. Oh, that's so hot. Okay. I want to thank you all so much. You've been great. Hopefully I can come back. Before I go, where do you want me to go for them? I'll be right over here for anyone else who has questions.
CAYA family, can we thank God for the gift of Tarra Jackson one more time? Such a real and relevant word, and we know we may have not gotten a lot of amens tonight because some of us were saying ouch as she said what she had to say, but we know it was powerful teaching, it was on time, and it's going to be helpful for so many of us as we build our future. We're getting ready to dismiss from this place, but we want to remind you all again that this weekend is YAM Sunday, Young Adult Sunday here at Alfred Street. Join us for all 4 services. Register online for brunch. It's going to be a powerful worship experience this weekend. As always, there may be somebody here tonight who either wants to start their relationship with Jesus Christ, who can help you as you walk towards financial freedom, and can help you as you prepare to be disciplined, to be mature, and to do what you need to do. Our deacons are going to be here on this side after service if you want to talk with them about accepting Jesus Christ or about becoming a part of this church family here at Alfred Street. And then on this other side over here, you'll be able to talk to Tarra about the book and about whatever questions you may have. So if you'd like to see our deacons, they'll be over here on my right, your left. If you want to talk to Tarra, she'll be here on my left, your right. I think that is all. Thank you all so much for coming out to CAYA. Let's get ready to stand and join hands as we prepare to pray and close out. As we join hands, let's look to God in prayer. God, our provider, we thank you because we know that every good and perfect gift that we have comes from you. God, even in seasons of lack and frustration and doubt, we know that you have still been good and faithful. And God, we simply come to you right now asking that you would work on our hearts and our minds to receive the word that you planted in us tonight. God, we know that we want to live a better life, a more fulfilling life, and a more peaceful life. So help us to embrace whatever steps we need to take. Help us to make the difficult decisions. God, most of all, help us to say no to things that we have trained ourselves to say yes to, knowing that a no today can help us to say yes to something greater tomorrow. So God, touch our hearts and our minds. Give us the strength. Give us the maturity to do exactly what we need to do. And as you do that for us, we'll be careful to give your name all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. God, we admit that it won't be easy. It may be difficult. Some distractions may come to detour us from our purpose. So God, right now, we squeeze our neighbor's hand to encourage them and to remind our neighbors and ourselves that we are not alone in this struggle, that we have a family of faith who is praying for us in each and every situation of our life. So God, we trust you, and we yet believe that the best is yet to come. Holy Spirit, watch over us as we depart from this place, but never from your presence. Guide us all safely to our homes, and we'll be careful to give your name the praise until we meet you back here in this place once again, in Jesus' name. Let every heart say amen. Come on, loose those hands, put yours together, celebrate God as we exit this place. Go in the grace of God, and may the grace of God go with you.